Got this comment this morning. Let's talk about it, because at first I was kind of like, honestly, a little bit hurt. It rubs me wrong when people leave comments like this, because I think if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Also, this person is either saying that I'm an idiot for not thinking that I need to train my dog, or that I'm not a good dog parent for not training my dog and saying that the biting is my fault, which I take issue with that, but I digress. I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk more broadly about the risks of comparing our dogs to other people's dogs. Because actually, a lot of the time, I'm on the flip side of this, where people are writing to me and saying, Vigo looks amazing. Why isn't my dog as good as Vigo? And I always tell people, you absolutely cannot compare your dog to anyone else's dog. And here's why. And let's use this as an example where I'm the one who is not training my dog enough. Just to start off with, there are huge differences in dogs based on their breed. And as much as everyone wants to say, oh, it's about how you raise them, yes, 100%. How you raise your dog is a huge element in what they will end up being like, but equally so, and what will make your job harder or easier is your breed temperaments that they're bred with and born with. Retrievers are notoriously mouthy. If you Google the traits of a retriever, mouthiness will come up a lot. And so honestly, it's not really a surprise that Vigo at 8 weeks to 5 months was super mouthy, especially when he was teething, because that's just part of his breed. And that's not me dismissing it, saying, oh, I'm just gonna let a dog be a dog. No, I did training. I made a whole video of how we ended up working with the teething and making it better. But I was a lot of the time fighting against his natural tendencies because he's a retriever. I'll tell you what, I get comments and messages every week from dog owners who are like, my dog's mouthy, he's biting, what do I do? And I would say solid 90 to 95% of the time, the people who are messaging me they either have a retriever or a German Shepherd. Now, is this to say that retrievers and German Shepherd owners are just not training their dog? No, of course not. It's the breed. And again, this is not me dismissing the work that training can do. Training definitely helps. If you know me, you know that I trained Vigo so much, and yet, despite all the work that I put in, Vigo is still a very mouthy and bitey puppy, which I've talked about before. But I think the problem is that sometimes you can compare your dog to someone else's dog who might have a completely different breed. Like, let's say that I compared Vigo to a Cavalier King Charles. I'd be like, well, the Cavalier King Charles is much more relaxed. He's not biting. It's the breed. If you're in that situation where you have a mouthy breed and you're looking at your friend who has a dog who does not have a mouthy breed and you're comparing them, it's not fair. Now, let's say that you do have 2 dogs of the same breed. It's still not really fair to compare them. I think there's always an element of training can take you so far, but there's 100% a breed and a personality element too. And then we come on to the situation of us as owners, right? I think everyone has a different capacity to train, a different capacity to do everything that they might want to do with their dog. I just think one of the worst things that we can do is compare ourselves to other people, either in a good light or a bad light. Because I think when we look at someone else and say, oh, well, my dog doesn't do that, that is rightly or wrongly placing judgment on the other person and assuming that we know their situation. And again, you can have the exact same trainer with 2 different dogs, and they can have a very different experience with those two dogs depending on a variety of factors. Which brings me on to another point, which I found really interesting. So I made a video last month about puppy blues. What really surprised me in the response to that video was people coming out and saying, my first dog was totally fine. I had no problems with my first dog. My second dog, it was so difficult. That showed me that even with the same person, they can have 2 very different experiences with 2 different dogs. And so to have 1 dog or 2 dogs or however many dogs and assume that your experience is universal and that what you did was the right thing and that other people are just doing it wrong. I just think I just don't think it helps anyone. I think we're all doing our best. I think we do it to ourselves, right? This person was doing it to me, but I think sometimes we do it to ourselves, where we judge ourselves and think, what could I be doing better? Why am I not like that person? Don't compare yourself to other people's dogs. Again, we're all doing our best. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get back to my holiday now.